Welcome to 108 Gates. We are doing the general reading, and then after this I will start the next cycle of all the house signs, all the different zodiac signs. So I hope you are well. The general reading today, for whenever you come to it, is feeling as though there needs to be a reconnection with self along the way. So we're going to get these cards first. Another one's for now. So we've got Queen of Cups. The feeling around that is as if she's scrying, as if she's looking into the cup and looking at the reflection and kind of assessing what's happening. Oh, okay. Assessing what's happening, or she's assessing in the past when she was down, when she was feeling really like beaten and at the ground, like at the mercy of others, at the mercy of on some level the divine. I'm not sure why I'm saying that, but I'm sure it'll become clear. So kind of like, I can't lift myself up, I need external source or force or support here to help me. And in that there has been some internal reflection from that moment. So interestingly, it actually feels as though he's looking at, like, if you're going within and with hindsight, looking at that time when you were possibly really like the bottom of the emotional well-being, the bottom of just like the self does it just feels like it's trying to come up, trying to get up, trying to move, trying to indicate I'm still here, I'm still alive, I'm still kicking, but there's so little energy left in the self that it's taken a lot of energy just to like show any kind of sense or feeling that you're still there. So if you think about that situation, it would be very depleting, it'd be very draining. And so we don't actually know, I know it sounds a bit silly, but there's 10 swords there, but we don't know if that person is still alive or not. But it's like there was a point at which you just hit rock bottom, could possibly so hard and so fast that it's just, I don't know how I'm going to get up from here. If you're having a moment like that come to mind, it's about having some self-reflection now, and literally with the Hermit going within and like remembering, not dwelling on, not going into self-pity or anything like that. Actually the opposite. It's reminding yourself that I thought at that point that I had no idea how I'm going to get myself up. I have no idea how I'm going to move on from this. How is my life going to shift and change from that point? And recognizing that you actually have, that you, from here, looking back, how much progress has happened, how much shift and change has happened, and really appreciating the difference that time has made, the difference that healing has made, the difference that having to make those shifts and changes, it doesn't matter how big, how small those shifts and changes were, making those shifts and changes that came from you, that came from that internal motivation to say that this is enough, I'm not having any more of this again. So what were those decisions that you were making? What were those decisions that you had to make? What were those decisions that were out of your hands actually, and you had to just either go with it or fight it? There were some that you identified that you had to just go with the decision, regardless of how painful it was. There were some decisions that you had to there's some decisions that you had to acknowledge that they're just like, they're out of your control, they're out of your parameters of having influence on it or having a way of changing it. So it literally was as if like you come to the end of the road and the only choice you had was to stay there stuck, or to just turn back and just start on a new route. So it's quite a deep energy, it's quite a strategic energy, in the sense of looking back and utilising the experience, utilising the pain and hurt to recognise where you've lifted yourself up. Also with that is, if you recognise or you remember how you lifted yourself up, did you have to drop cards, Did you have to give yourself some time? Did you have to give yourself a talk? Did you have to give yourself some real talk, as in like, I really have to just like break ties with this person or that space, or go to a different space within? Did you have to surrender to something? Did you have to actually start being more motivated and proactive in something? What was it that brought you out of this space? What decisions did you have to make? Who was involved in those decisions? What was involved in those decisions? So we've got here the badger and ginkgo. So this is for healing the wounds, which is quite relevant for this. It just feels like this is what it's about. If we still have wounds that are still lingering, that are still gaping, that are still sore, that are still raw, that are still they just keep coming up, but in different versions, different manifestations of it. It's about looking at those and really being done with it. So that means possibly looking at, am I being actually truthful with myself about this? Am I being honest with myself about this? Is it really the direction I need to go in? Or do I need to be going in the opposite direction? Do I need to be changing the script altogether? What is it about this that needs shifting and changing? But with that, it's about being honest with yourself and actually accepting the truth of that answer, allowing the answer in, allowing the answer to percolate solutions, is allowing it to bring forward solutions. I can't say that these solutions are going to be easy to swallow. I can't say these solutions are going to be easy to handle or actually acceptable even on any level, because it's like the resistance that was there before, is it still as a residue now? Is the resistance still there? So then it's stopping the healing fully happening. Is it blocking the healing fully happening? And it's not about being angry at self. It's about being gentle, kind, compassionate. And if there were certain things that were not being healed and not still healed, then maybe that there's some love and tenderness, kindness, compassion required for you to get over that threshold and actually allow the healing to happen. So let's get the next one. The Mouse and Buttercup, Innocence. As soon as I saw that in relation to this, I felt as though the perspective of certain people, the perspective of certain situations is not realistic, and this is partly possibly what is keeping you stuck and not allowing the wounds to heal. So if you're telling yourself that everything's going to be okay, you're expecting people to change, you're waiting for people to change, you're waiting for the situation to change around you, but you're not actually shifting or changing anything around you, where does that leave you? What are you creating in doing that? So it's really asking for you to take some steps to change those things even deeper. Go deeper, go deeper. Even if you've been doing your work, how much deeper can you go? How much deeper are you prepared to go? How much deeper are you ready to go? So there's a horse, 2 horses. So as you're doing that, I don't know why that felt relevant. I did pick out a card actually, and I put it back in. Let me see if it's still on the top. No, I shuffled it back. There it is, yeah. I did see that. It came out and I put it back in. Literally, the horse that just walked past had purple covers on its ears. The horse and Bluebell, modest fortitude. So really kind of blowing your own trumpet. It just feels like you've really got to accept that you have strength in you that you haven't utilised yet. You've got strength in you that has been depleted. It's been brought down. It's been so when I'm saying that and seeing this around here, there were times when you were possibly other people's influence on you, other people's hammering at your energy field, hammering at your conscience, your emotional well-being, your consciousness, your subconsciousness, your if you have a plan and they're just there to batter it and smack it down, everything that you were working for, everything you were trying to focus on that was for your higher good, and they just kept going at it and pommeling it. As this horse is standing there, it just feels like you've got to like the mouse and the buttercup, that's the innocence. But the thing is, the innocence was where you allowed, it's like a, not a weak spot, because that's the message I didn't want to say before. It's the point of, it was a space where somebody could see or could hone in on you being vulnerable, shall we say. And that innocence at some point, although it is good to have that on some level, it also was a weak spot in that it stopped and blocked you from protecting yourself appropriately. So having rose-colored glasses when you shouldn't have, it left you kind of wide open to being taken for granted. It left you wide open for being misled on some level. So there's so many different things coming in. For a general reading, this is quite intense. So I'm going to get another card for by the Badger. So this feels like the motivation has been sucked out of you, where you had to keep battling this and fighting this and preventing this from happening and propping this up, and that survival mode. It just took so much out of you, which led to that downfall. So here we've got healing wounds, the Lovers. This does feel like it's your own anima, your own animus, so your own yin yang, your own inner feminine, masculine energies, really bringing yourself back together. Fusion, healing, so that fusion happens within you, that you're not just half of yourself, you're not just parts of yourself, you're kind of recollecting yourself, you're rejuvenating yourself to a point that you're feeling more wholesome, you're feeling more in connection with your higher potential, you're more in connection with what you're capable of. You are reclaiming certain parts of you that was lost in that battle, so to speak, and doing it in a way that's best for you. So if you look at the Two of Swords, the stagnation, the just like stay still and where you are, and then you look at the flexibility of the Two of Pentacles, this is what's going to be the difference. So these decisions now, having a look at those decisions with a very, very honest, self-reflective perspective, so that you can actually see the possible mistakes you made. You can see where, if I was to do that situation again, in hindsight, I should have done it this way, I could have done it this way. Allow that sensation to go through, allow that feeling to go through, and then allowing it to kind of permeate the rest of the energies, so that this time you know what's for your higher good. You know exactly what you want to invest in. You know exactly who's properly investing in you. None of that those shenanigans of people saying that they're going to do this, they're going to promise you this, and they're promising you that, and they want you to have this, they want you to do this, and it's like, I've heard it all before. I want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I need to see it. So there's a lot around this. I know I'll keep repeating that, but if I didn't expect it actually to be this much. So Justice here feels as though if you focus on your priorities, you focus on your direction, you focus on where am I heading with this, where have I come out of, in hindsight, what should I have done differently, what could I have done differently, what was in my control, what was out of my control, reenacting certain things, just energetically shifting and changing, because your perspective is coming from a more empowered space. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to go back into the time. It doesn't mean you have to go back to that person and have a different conversation. It just means your heart and mind, your consciousness, your subconsciousness, the super consciousness on some level is realigning your perspective of things. You're realigning the therefore the energetic connection, the energetic communication with those situations, and allowing justice to come in for you, so that you are on top of the situation, you are in power of the situation for the best outcome. Ace of Wands. So what do you have to do? Again, this is feeling linked to what did I do differently? What could I have done differently? What should I have done differently? And would, should, could. I always think that when those come up, there's an indicator of where we are in relation to self. So if those questions, I should have done this, I would have done that, I could have done that, but it's like, but why didn't you? Not in a detrimental way, not in a demeaning way, not in a self-punishing way, just asking it as a question: should, would, could. if those things are coming up, then why didn't you? Maybe it wasn't possible then. Maybe you didn't have the resources then. Maybe it was just so compact with stressful energies that you just couldn't see the wood through the trees. So now you're in a different position. You can send different messages, different energies to that situation. If I was more empowered, if I had the hindsight that I have now, I could have done it in that way. I should have looked at it. I should have just said no instead of just letting it happen again and again and again. But again, not getting lost in the should, could, would of disempowering yourself is in the reflection. What is it bringing up? What are those doubts? What are those questions? What are those things? Meaning, when you look at, well, that was an opportunity to choose differently. That was an opportunity to react differently. That was a chance to respond rather than react. Things like that. I could have said that instead of this. But forgiveness, completely. Compassion, completely. Consideration, completely. Fair Justice wants another card. So from there, there's a different horizon to look out on. Look out to. There's a different perspective. There's a different things are going to shift and change if you're looking at things different. If you keep looking at things with regret, remorse, resentment, anger, bitterness, it's not going to give you good stead, and it's going to keep you stuck in that lower vibe situation scenario. So you want to, if you want to do that work, it's asking to do the work in a way that's going to benefit you and bring about different outcomes, bring about a different perspective, bring about different emotional reactions to it, different emotional relationship to it. So you're going to get one more for the Ace of Wands, then wrap it up. Excellent. We've got the King of Wands here, stepping up and making sure that you're doing the correct thing for you. The King of Wands sits standing there like, I know now I have a different sense of power. Before, you might not even been connected with your inner power. There may have been too much conflict there. Whatever the reason was, it just wasn't there. It's here now, and that's the thing to focus on. That's the thing to remember, and that's the thing to push forward, pull forward, move forward with your best steps, with your next best steps. So for now, I'm going to wrap that up. It is for whenever you come to the reading. So if it doesn't resonate, let it go. If it does, I hope you got something from it that's beneficial. Check out your playlist, individual playlists. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe, hit the bell. And till next time, peace and love.